Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 184. And today we're here with Brian Mabutas from Eat Sleep Race. B, what up, bro?
Chilling.
Hey, so I got a beef with you, dog.
What is that?
I've known you forever. We've had some intimate moments together, and it took you 184 episodes to. No, we're not. This is the West Coast. We don't pause over here, bro. Took you 184 episodes to get on, dog.
Yeah, because this guy, you gotta come. You gotta be here in person to do it.
Yeah.
I've been telling you, I'm ready to do it on the FaceTime. Like before COVID, you weren't about it.
I wanted the face-to-face, dog. No pause.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're here, bro.
We almost did it at IBOC last year.
I know. Oh, that's right. Dude, think about it. So, guys, well, that was the same day that we did the Honda Pro Jason podcast.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to figure things out with Jason, but he's always out signing autographs and shit, so it's kind of hard to reel that guy in. So I was like, let's just go do it, Brian. But
we learned a lot about Jason on that one. That was a good one.
We did, man.
Real, Jason's deep. Yeah, people don't know it.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's kind of the good thing about that podcast was, for one, it gives people an in-look on somebody else's life when they just all they know about them is their online personality.
Yeah, for real.
There was a lot of shocking things in that podcast, but there was definitely a lot of honesty in that podcast as well. And then that actually transitioned over to, him getting a lot of feedback, positive and negative on it. And then when we did the second follow-up on the podcast, you could tell that a lot of things that we discussed in the first, that was probably the first time that those subjects really even came to mind. So he was just shooting off the hip, but sometimes it's good to have those kind of conversations because you think about life in one certain way, and since your life is that way, maybe you just think that's correct, but then you talk to somebody from another part of the country and they're like, hey, start poking holes in, and you're like, wow, maybe they are right, I'm not saying that Jason was right or wrong on any of his thinkings, but it's really cool to be able to have conversations and see the conversations lead into some sort of change or growth.
Jason's cool. Jason's a cool dude in my books.
I
like him.
No, I like Jason too, and I really like that he's comfortable enough with himself to be able to say like, "Yo, this is me. This is who I am."
Yeah,
it's really refreshing, man. And that's one thing I like to do with the podcast is just have these refreshing talks, dude. And I've been waiting to talk to you forever, man. We got a lot to dive into.
Let's see. I'm curious what you got lined up.
All right, dude. So before we get into it, can you please give us just a quick summary of who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I'm Brian Mabutas, founder, one of the owners and founder of Eat Sleep Race, racing lifestyle apparel brand. Started it back in 2001. So we're 19 years and running. And I was, man, you guys do the math. I was 15. 16 when I started the brand. So yeah, I've been doing this for quite some time, and I started the brand as an enthusiast first and foremost. Luckily, because of my brother, I was surrounded by the automotive and racing culture because of him. He's always been into cars, so I tagged along. Luckily, he let me tag along with him. I was that annoying little brother that waited in his room to see if my mom would make him bring me out with him.
Yeah.
So one of those like Friday night, like, yo, I'm going to go out. Like, you can't go unless you take your brother with you. And I'm like, yes. So he's 6 years older than me. So hanging around him and his friends, I was the little guy just tagging along, being exposed to the culture, going to the street races. We went to a lot of street races, and it was literally starting at that age of maybe 14. It was nonstop, just hanging out in people's garages, always surrounded around cars. So that's where the mentality of the Eat Sleep Race even came from. It started off not as a brand. It was when I was that young, hanging around with those guys. It was a group called Team Alpha. It literally was a team. There was about 30, 40 guys on the team, and the truth is that they had the baddest cars in New York, New Jersey. It was a collection of the baddest of imports. It was specifically imports, Supras, Civics, Integras, very notorious group at the street races. Like when those cars rolled up, everyone at the street races knew who Team Alpha was, and I really liked being affiliated with them at such a young age that I realized, like, dang, every weekend this group of, like, at least, especially because everyone was a lot younger back then, people were in their teens and 20s. Every weekend, at least out of the group of 40, 20 people or so were hanging out every weekend doing car stuff. And I thought it was so ill that that's where the motto of Eat Sleep Raise came from, because, like, seeing it as an outsider, like, this is all that they do, all that we do, because I'm around it. Like, we literally, everything's about cars, even on weekdays after school, like just going to hang out at people's garages. Like, that defines life: eat, sleep, and racing. Because if we're not racing at the track, and we used to go to either street races or to Englishtown, every single event at Englishtown, we were in people's garages just working on cars, hanging around cars. So, like, that's literally where the motto of the lifestyle came from. And it was when I was 16, back in 2001, I asked the guys if I could design them a team t-shirt, because they didn't even have team t-shirts back then. They had the banners on the car, the windshield banners on the car. But back then, Hot Import Nights was cracking. There was a lot of local car shows, organized car shows, and I thought it would be cool. And more so, it was kind of selfish of me on my end too, because I wanted a shirt to let people know I was part of this group, especially because I didn't have a car. So I told them, I was like, I know how to use the computer. Like, can I design some team t-shirts, and I'll put the Alpha logo on it. So everyone was like, all right, so what you gonna put on the back? Because back then they used to have monthly meetings. You actually had to pay dues to be part of this group.
Got you.
So, like, I forgot how much you had to pay to be part of the team, but the money that went into the team, it went into, like, hosting barbecues and whatnot. So it was a real organized, functional team. And at that meeting, I remember we were in the parking lot, and everyone was like, well, what's going to go on the back? And I was like, I had this drawing on the back of my notebook, which is the original logo, the original design of Eat Sleep Race. It's a 3-box logo. Actually, I got my black book in front of me. I'll look for it later. This stuff's going to move. I have the back of my notebook where that was sketched. And I remember I was like, I'll show it to you guys later. And I showed it to them, like, that's ill. Put it on the back of the shirt. And then that's how the brand started, because everyone started wearing that shirt to all the events. And then people started asking, like, could I buy that shirt? And back then, first couple years, like, everybody would say no. Like, nah, these are, like, that's our design.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get it unless you're part of the team type deal. And then a couple years later into Hot Import Nights, it's funny, my dad came, and my dad was the one who pointed it out. He's like, Bri, there's, like, these little, the vendors selling stickers that are like Eat Sleep Toyota, Eat Sleep Honda. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, that was a thing back in the day, like Eat Sleep whatever, Eat Sleep Nissan.
Yeah.
That was a rip off of what I made. And that's the legit fact of it. Like, they were using the plate and the bed, and then the third box, they would change whatever. So all that stuff that you would see at, like, flea markets back then, flea markets were cracking back then. Like, all the vinyl makers, they were actually ripping my logo, because I designed that 2-3 years prior to all these other, all the vendors even selling them. And it used to piss me off so much, because Eat Sleep Race, right? Those are 3 verbs. You can't eat sleep Honda, bro. It got me so mad, It got me so mad. Like, you can't eat sleep Toyota. So, like, they kind of made it real corny, right? Like, this, like, to me, when I made it, like, it was so hard. So, like, Eat Sleep Race, this is what we fucking do. And I feel it in my fucking veins when I say it, right? Like, like, fucking Eat Sleep Toyota. Like, you playing my shit out. But it was at that point where, my dad made it realize in my head, like, these they're making money off of something I designed. I didn't even have I had no idea of like even how to start a business. I mean, I'm 16, 17.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know how to even sell shirts, how to, get the vendor space and whatnot.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
But it clicked, and then I asked the guys at the like one of the meetings. I was like, "Yo, do you guys mind if I take this 3 box logo and start selling it?" And it was a little debate, but at the end of the day, they're like, "Yo, you made it. Like, whatever, it's yours. If that's what
Yeah.
you want to do, that's what you want to do. Like, we're still gonna rep it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's tight." So that's the organic foundation of the brand. Like, it was literally created for our group, our team, and now it's freaking it's gone over my head quite a few times. Like, it's a worldwide recognized brand. I mean, we have a car racing in NASCAR. That was like the epitome for me. Like, that was a pinnacle that I never even. It's sad to say, but I couldn't even dream of it because I knew how hard it was to get into NASCAR, and that's a failure on my part because you shouldn't limit your dreams, right?
Yeah.
But that was something that when the opportunity happened with Joe Graff, like, man, we are going to have a Eat Sleep Race NASCAR car, and then Joe Graff and his team, his father, they've blown my mind out of the water more than I have in the career I've had with Eat Sleep Race in the 1 year of working with them. So we started off with Eat Sleep Race NASCAR, racing 30 races in the now I can't forget what series they were running in.
Mm.
But then they blew my mind when they're like, "Yo, Joe's going to be running 3 Eat Sleep race cars on Richard Childress Racing." And to tell you the truth, I didn't know much about NASCAR. I was a NASCAR noob. I was literally learning about NASCAR because of the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was like, "Oh, that's cool. What's Richard Childress Racing?" And they're like, "Yo, that's Dale Earnhardt's team." I was like, "Wait, what you mean?" Like, that's the team that he raced on, that he won, majority of his championships on. I was like, no
Whoa.
way, no way. And then, so the way I could compare it for people who don't know NASCAR is the Yankees is, like one of the most recognized, respected baseball teams, even though they don't win every
Yeah. Yeah.
championship. They,
Yeah.
depending if you're a New York fan or not, they could either be top 3, top 5 in the MLB. But that Richard Childress is top 3, or, they
Mm-hmm.
might even be considered #1 race team in NASCAR out of the dozens. And when they were saying like he basically got signed to that team, which he did, like, yo, that's freaking nuts. That's basically like Babe Ruth, Derek Jeter on the Yankees. Now you had Dale Earnhardt, Joe Graff Jr. with
Yeah.
a Eat Sleep Race car. Mind blowing. So yeah, we had a car on that team for 3 or 4 races, and I actually got to go down to that facility in North Carolina, and it's insane. You can see it. You could actually see the tour that I did on the Eat Sleep Race YouTube channel. That place, I thought, and I've also been told, that it is the best racing facility in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like, it's a campus. Like, they own a block, a street, and it's like 20, 30 buildings of just nonstop
Whoa.
action, and it's a crazy operation down there. Richard Childress is like the OG of NASCAR racing, and yeah, like they have a whole museum just for Dale Earnhardt. They got the #3 car. Like they've got dozens of #3 cars there. #3 cars there. It's insane going into their workshop. So they've got 2 levels. You can watch on the YouTube channel, on the Eat Sleep Race YouTube channel. They got 2 levels. They call it it's like Walk of Fame or something, but you go upstairs and you could see like a sky view level of like how deep their workshop goes. And I want to say, like, yo, the place is so white and so pristine that like it just glows as soon as they open up that door. And like when you're up there, when I walked in for the first time to see like how like there was like 3 or 4 Eat Sleep Race cars just laid out and like perfectly organized on the floor, I'm like, dude, this is, yeah, like would have never thought.
What'd that feel like?
Wouldn't have like would have never thought. It was like the feeling of winning the lottery. That's the way I compare it. Like, yo, so that's what winning the lottery feels like. Like that's like that feeling of sheer happiness of
Yeah.
like I can't believe I'm looking at this right now. Like I tried doing the vlog, but I was so speechless doing like walking through the place and realizing like right now they hit me up a couple weeks after we went there. They put our logo like they put it permanently on their wall in that Walk of Fame. And I'm like, yo, this is bananas. Like we're permanently part of like,
Wow.
history. Richard Childress race and Dale Earnhardt, like and freaking Eat Sleep race made by a 16-year-old or 14-year-old kid and not let alone I gotta mention this Filipino kid in New Jersey. Like it's wild.
I love it. I
And I
love it,
want to say
man.
I am the only Filipino involved in NASCAR. Like that's my claim to fame for all Filipinos. Like, like you for something for all Filipinos to know, like, we have a Filipino owned company in NASCAR. Like, that's wild.
Love it, man. I remember seeing the when you were going into the NASCAR, and I was just like, "Whoa, B, this is a huge step. This is something that I never even expected, you know." And when I seen the wrap on Joe's car, and then I actually went to a race with Christian and
Yeah.
I. You got us taken care of with some passes over there. We went to go check out Joe race and going behind the scenes and stuff, and it was amazing, man. It just the sound and the feeling being there, and it was awesome, and it definitely gave me a new respect for NASCAR for sure, because I just never spent any time in the community trying to figure out or anything like that. But that's more serious than any other automotive event that I've ever been to, hands down.
And let it be known, of course, like yeah, NASCAR is cool and all, but of course I know what the brand is and where we came from, and we're never gonna leave it. Like we are a tuner based brand. I started off. My first car was a Honda Civic EK. Actually, it's right there on the wall.
Oh, okay.
But long story short, I started building that car when I was 16. I'll make it really long story short. I was fortunately blessed by my parents who got it for me in an unfortunate circumstance. My brother's friend and a family friend of ours who I always looked up to, like I thought this dude was the coolest guy that I knew. Like this dude was like the stylish, like he always knew, like this dude was so cool to me. Like I always looked up to him. I feel like a lot of kids, like there's always that one person like, yo, that dude's so cool, whether it's a celebrity or somebody like this was that guy to me. And when I first saw his car when it was silver, I was like, dude, I want a car just like Leo when I could drive. And unfortunately, he passed away. He had health issues. I I I heard the car was going up for sale to his cousin, and I asked my mom. I was like, yo, like that's like I I I I don't know how to verbalize it. Like I need that car. Like it's Leo's car. Like can you please call his parents? And like nobody knows how much that car means to me. Like I know I'm too young to even have a car, but I don't know what I'd do if I don't get like if it ends up in somebody else's hands and they don't respect the car as it should be.
Yeah.
So fortunately, like they worked out a deal in which I got the car, and I feel I put everything that I had into that car. Like literally, I worked two jobs as a 16-year-old. I worked at CVS and KB Toys. I was hustling mixtape CDs at school. I was your everyday kid hustlers selling candy out the lager, literally you name it, everything except drugs.
Yeah.
I was slanging. Um, and yeah, like every single dollar I had went into that car, and it
Wow.
it tore me apart. It turned my life around when it got stolen out of my driveway. My right before my senior year of college, literally the weekend before I moved back to school, somebody stole it from my driveway, and it literally just turned my world upside down.
Fuck.
That was also the reason why Eat Sleep Raise happened. So it's kind of like there's that silver lining. I was hustling Eat Sleep Raise out of the trunk of that car at events before I even knew how to book a vendor space. And when that happened, I didn't have the car anymore. I still wanted to go to events, and I kind of found purpose to go to events with Eat Sleep Raise, because with the money that I got from insurance, which wasn't a lot, I got screwed on it. Like I didn't know about collector car insurance and nothing back then. We just had a regular full coverage policy on it, and the car was a '97. It wasn't worth nothing. I think I got like $2,000 from insurance
Mm.
for it. Yeah, I got complete. I basically lost everything that we had put into it. My car was fully done up. Um, I took that money, flipped it into inventory for T-shirts, and that's literally where some of the first inventory for Eat Sleep Race even came from. And then during those years of going to events, that's when I brought in my partners, and of course I got to mention them. My brother and Hugo were my original two partners, and just as of late, Hugo's brother Eric, who's been working with us and since I want to say over 10 years now,
Hmm.
just recently did he become a partner because without him, the brand wouldn't have made it this far. He's
Definitely.
been an integral part of keeping the brand alive and growing the brand. So he just recently became a partner. So there's four of us that are partners of Eat Sleep Race right now. And yeah, that's the groundwork of how we came around.
I love it, man. I remember back in 2010, that's when I first even heard about the brand. Well, I had heard about it prior to that, but I was at Import Alliance Summer Meet 2010, and that's when I ran into your brother because we were
Brother,
in
yeah,
booths like neighbors. Maybe it was
yeah,
it was like a couple booths away, but I'm chilling there, and then when it's slow or when we're setting up or whatever, I just went over there and I checked it out. And then I mean, just like you, your brother has an awesome personality, and we just started talking, and then just became cool off of that, And then I don't know when it was that you and I ended up meeting. Probably when I did my first H day, which was 2012. 2012 was my first H day. But then after, meeting you, Hugo, and Eric, I was just like, man, this is different than just a brand flipping T-shirts. This is like real family environment. And then keep going every year. After that, you go to the events, and then you'll see a bigger tent. Then you'll see multiple tents, and then you'll see like your wife, and then the other guys, the significant others, working the booths, and then friends and things like that. And it's real cool to see the community that Eat Sleep Race has cultivated in this short amount of time.
yeah. I gotta credit the community that we have to why the brand even exists and why it continues to exist. And I could recommend that to anybody building a brand. That's actually the number one key thing, and you know it. You're a great example of it.
Thank you.
Brands exist because of the community and the supporters behind it. You could have a great product, but without a community to back it, it's not going to go far. So great products, it's great products make money. Great brands build a great business. So in order to further, if you have one product, you got to turn that product into a brand in order for it to have longevity. And in order to build a brand, you have to have a community backing it to grow it and to make sure it stays around. And like you just said, you could just see it within the partners. It's me and my brother and Hugo and his brother. It's two brothers, two sets of brothers that own the business. And then our community, our immediate community, are friends that we consider family. Like that core group of Team Alpha, to this day, I still hang out with a majority of them. For everybody who still has a car, we still hang out. For those who got out of cars, a lot of them are coming back, and we're still here, so they're
Yeah.
coming back around. And it's just a network that keeps growing beyond that because their friends or their friends support what they support. And that's really how the brand continued to grow way before social media even existed, right? So many. So that's one thing that Eat Sleep Race, it's just a fact to acknowledge. We are one of the first motorsports brands to do it. Besides us was Alpine Stars
Mm-hmm.
and Pacific Rim, and those were the biggest. Of course, there was Greg out in California who has always been part of the apparel culture for the tuner scene, but I don't think he had a brand for his stuff back then. but now he's massive, and that is awesome to see. But back then, we were a handful of motorsports apparel brands doing it for the culture. Like, we literally were the culture.
Yeah.
And now I'm a dime 100. There's hundreds, you know, if not thousands, because every influencer now is a brand of their own, and
Yeah.
that's just a fact. That is that has apparel for the tuner community. So just to see where it came from, you know, like a handful of 3-4 brands for the if you were a tuner and you wanted to buy clothes that related you to the culture, there you didn't have much to choose from. And that's honestly that's the exact reason why I created the first couple designs. I've always been into streetwear, always been into sneakers, been collecting Jordans, wearing Jordans since I was a kid. So that actually reflected into my car. Like, my car has always had a Nike check on it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the joke is, back then in the late 90s and early 2000s, this is just a fact. The only culture who put Nike checks on their cars were, for some reason, Mexicans used to always put the "just do it."
Yeah.
I don't know why, but people would always think I was Mexican because I put the Nike check on it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. I was just a sneakerhead, and sneakerhead was a subculture back then in the late 90s, early 2000s. So low key, like, nah, like, I have a Nike check on this car because I love sneakers.
Yeah.
But because I liked sneakers, the clothes that I wore, Stussy, Supreme, streetwear brands, the hundreds,
Yeah.
10 Deep, Mighty Healthy, those were brands, the earliest brands of streetwear back then. That's when streetwear just started to boom. Like, brand Bobby Hundreds, like the OG, those were the guys, Bape, you know, those were the guys who started streetwear. They created the culture that I loved. So it was a mix of both. Like, damn, I love cars, I love streetwear, I love sneakers, but there's no apparel that I could wear that represents the two for me.
Yeah.
So Alpine Stars, like, they're more motocross. Like, it's motorsports, but I don't feel comfortable wearing Alpine Stars and driving my Honda wearing, you know, my Jordans. So, to the same point, like, I didn't even know Pacific Rim was a thing back then, because literally the internet was just starting to get cracking. Like, ordering stuff online was not common back then. That I was like, you know what? Let me make some shirts, some designs that go with my Jordans. That relates to car culture. So one of the first T-shirts I ever did, and it's influenced by everything that I like, it was a shirt with, I can't forget, Alphanumeric was another OG streetwear brand that fused together. And unfortunately, they disappeared. They went out of business, but they were the first to do it. They put a Honda motor on a T-shirt, and they just did it because they were Honda guys too.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what it was. I think as a kid, I had 3-4 of those shirts just because I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And because Alphanumeric went out of business, I took that concept and I was like, I'm going to put a Honda motor on a shirt.
Yeah.
I did it in colorways of these Jordans that I had. And the 3 other designs were also influenced based off of sneaker colorways. And I did it because I wanted clothes to match my sneakers that I could wear with my car. And that's literally why the brand came into existence, is because I filled the void of, man, if you like cars, if you like tuner cars, there's no brand for you to wear right now, especially on the East Coast, because we didn't know what was going on the West Coast in terms of clothes.
Yeah.
Because you weren't ordering clothes online like that back in the day. I found out about Pacific Rim at Formula D when we did an event there. The owner, Jerry, came by the booth and he's like, yo, this is dope. He's like, I own this website, Pacific Rim, and I want to sell your stuff. And I was like, I've never heard of it. When I go on his website, like, oh, you guys basically doing like what we do, cool designs, streetwear influenced designs, but out on the West Coast. I was like, yeah, that's dope. So that was one of the things that opened the door for us to get the brand exposed to a larger community back then, because he was very well known on the West Coast. We were very well known in, you know, the tri-state area. So, like, to continue to spread the brand to the West, because now he was buying inventory, taking it to the events that he was selling at, and he also added us to the website. So now Eat Sleep Race was easily available on the West Coast. Dude. So that was one of the stepping stones to exposing the brand.
I love it, man. So back in the day, were you heavy on Nike Talk?
Oh, of course. BUR13ARRY Burberry the username. Yeah, I was constantly posted on the what WWD. What did you WDYD? What did you wear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would always post my outfits on there, and I would make it a point to put sneakers and the Eat Sleep Race T-shirts,
Yeah.
and I'll work my car into it to let people know, like, yo, I'm a car dude that likes sneakers. But yeah, no, Nike Talk was the OGs know about Nike Talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names that were on Nike Talk back in the day, right?
Baller came out with Nike Talk,
Ben
Kid,
Baller, Bobby Hundreds.
yeah, I mean a lot of the triple OGs came out in Nike Talk, so yeah, definitely that's raised off of the forum days, Honda Tech.
Yeah.
For Honda guys. My brother and Dave, his partner Dave, actually owned a very popular forum for the East Coast guys called Speed Lounge back then. So it was pretty cool because we piggybacked off of each other. So if you were trying to find out what was going on in the tri-state back then, like Speed Lounge was the forum to go to. So he was also my partner, so he was running his forum. So we were promoting the brand on his forum, giving it that much more exposure. So it was a lot of the things collided way before, Instagram, Facebook came around.
Yeah.
So yeah, once Instagram and Facebook came around, that's when we started becoming a dime a dozen to other motorsports apparel brands, because when I learned how to make clothes, it was not as easy as it is today. Like anybody could literally make a t-shirt right now. You could go on, whatever website you want to go to and just submit your design and have your t-shirt at your door in a day. Back then, like I was looking through a yellow page book. How do I print t-shirts? And that's where I found the word screen printer, because I was like, oh, shoot, what is a screen printer?
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for any of this. Like, I didn't go to school for graphic design, nothing. Like, I'm self-taught on computers. I have my black book. Literally, it's right under here. But if I touch it, all this other stuff's gonna fall down. I was that kid in class that instead of paying attention, I was always doodling in the back of my notebooks, and I saved a bunch of the backs of my notebooks, and it's in here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty dope.
I remember when we did that Huffy Talk, you were showing a bunch of the old pictures.
Right? Yeah, I'm pulling it out right now. You're gonna hear a bunch of shit falling over.
It's all good, bro. This is history, man.
Looking at it right here, it's pretty dope. Like literally,
wow.
This is the back of my junior year notebook.
Gotcha.
I want to say, oh no, the YouTube race isn't on there. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Like I was just always sketching and doodling and whatnot. So
gotcha. A lot of graffiti.
Yeah, I was very because of my brother. I was very the four elements of hip hop type deal. I was one of those guys that tried everything. Oh, this one's pretty dope. I didn't even see this. So this actually defines what I was into.
Oh, shit.
So it's a car, clothes, sneakers. So that's literally what I just told you, right? Like
yeah.
That's what I was into. I wish I dated this, because this looks like something I made back in high school, because it's got the Alpha logo on it. But this is literally why the brand exists today. It's because I liked these three things and I brought them together into one thing.
Yeah.
But I figured out how to do it on my own. I didn't go to school for it, and we made it this far.
I love it, dude. So when did you find out that you had like a creative side of you? Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Hilto Automotive has been a supporter of Downtime with Downstar for quite some time now, and we know that they're in your corner, that they got your back, whether you're under a car or you just need some help. No matter your race, creed, engine platform preference, that motto stands true. Accord, Civic, S2000, any Honda, any customer, anywhere in the world, with equal respectful treatment for all. We at Downtime with Downstar share these values, and as a special gift to Downtime listeners, they are giving you guys a special deal. Using the Let's Deal function at the top of HeelToeAuto.com, you'll find an option to request a special quote. Submit a special quote using the key phrase, "I'm down with Downstar." Once again, the key phrase is I'm down with Downstar for a special deal on whatever you're shopping for. And of course, if you need any help, Marcus from Heel Toe is available by call, text, email to help out. Heel Toe wishes you guys a happy, healthy, and safe 2020. So I know a lot of you guys are questioning, what is this whole cult thing that's going on? Well, we at Downstar are starting our own cult. What is it? Are you going to have to drink punch? Are we going to sleep with your wives? No, none of that yet. But what it is a direct number to us, meaning me, Frank Downstar. I'm the one that's answering the text. So please, right now, text us, 818-403-3473. You're just going to have to follow a couple simple steps, get added to your contacts, and text us. Let us know what you're thinking of the episode so far. If you guys have any questions, anything like that, anything, even want to talk about life, man, just shoot us a text. We're here to help you guys out, and we're here to have some fun, man. And that's what the cult's about. So come join the cult. 818-403-3473. No charges. We're not going to be selling your info. No bullshit like that, guys. Just straight up fun. So make sure you guys shoot us a text right now. 818-403-3473. And enjoy the rest of the episode. Have a good day.
I want to say because of hip hop, it started off with DJing. Me and my brother started DJing because my uncle was a DJ who always DJ'd like house parties and stuff. So we had access to his turntables, and then that's because we were always listening to Hot 97.
Mm-hmm.
When he let us start using his equipment is when we started going to the record stores and building our record collection. And it's because of that, always seeing the album covers and being inspired by looking at that stuff, like, yo, I could draw like this, or I want to draw like this. And that's when I started educating myself about the hip hop culture. I mean, I'm like 6-7 years old, reading this magazine because my brother's buying it because he's 12, 13, right?
Yeah.
And literally that's how we were learning about the culture back then. I mean, we grew up in the suburbs of New Jersey where, even though New York was an hour away, we didn't know anybody to even out with there. So learning about hip hop culture through magazines and movies like Wild Style and Paid in Full, Menace to Society, like literally like growing up with movies like that is where, and listening to Wu-Tang, Biggie, Naughty by Nature, you name it, like that's where the influence came from. Overall, it's like, all right, well, I love hip hop, so tried DJing. I wasn't good at it. I wasn't that good at it. My brother was a lot better than me. So I was like, all right, I like breakdancing. I like watching breakdancing. Started buying breakdancing, VHS tapes, collecting those, trying to breakdance. I sucked at that.
Yeah.
Forget MC, like rap, and forget about it. I'm not even going to try it. I already know. Let me not even start.
Yeah.
And then that's where like graffiti came into it as well. And then that's where I naturally just taught myself, like, yo, I like this. I'm not too bad at drawing. And not to say I'll never say I was a graffiti artist, but I did have some tag names that I was writing. But that's when I picked up, like, I have a creative side to myself. And then that's when I learned how to use computers. Back then I had an old school Windows computer, and literally I want to say like designing on a computer started off with Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you could draw on a computer. And then that's where I couldn't afford Photoshop back then. And it was like Photoshop 1 back then. My computer was probably even too slow to run it. So I was using whatever was free to make designs online. And then I do remember I was in grade school when I first learned how to make websites on Angel Fire.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Angel Fire and something else. And that's where my computer knowledge came from. It was self-taught back then. It was the 56K modem.
Yeah. And you're doing code and stuff?
Yeah, people still get on me because AOL was how we got onto the internet back then. I still use the same AOL email address today.
Yes.
You could go back to my inbox because my inbox is still full. I'll keep it for as long as AOL is in existence. But I got emails from freaking early 2000s, late 90s in there. It's crazy. Yeah.
I love it.
I think at some point like AOL hit me up like, yo, we're gonna delete your inbox because there's too much stuff in it. But they didn't.
So, did your computer work have to do with you making the mixtapes as well, figuring out how to get the music and burning it and such?
So what was it back then? I think it was Napster.
It started off as Napster, and then after Napster started, getting into
Lime.
battles with Metallica, then it turned into LimeWire, BearShare,
Yeah.
Morpheus, Kazaa. There were so many, and it was like every few months or so, something else would pop up, or you would just toggle back and forth.
No, that's right. I mean, as a kid, you name it, I tried it from literally every sport to building computers and whatnot. So like some period of my life as a kid, I was really into building computers from scratch.
Got you.
And that's when I like was buying CD burners. CD burners back then were 1X. It would
Yeah.
take like 8 to 12 hours
One
for
X.
one CD with 10 tracks on it. And I'd freaking punch the walls at my parents' house when like it would stop burning like after 6 hours. Like, yo, what the fuck? It's just waiting all day.
Yeah.
And then finally got to 2X, 4X, 18X, or 16X. And I remember back
64.
then spending $500 on like a 32X. And I'm like, yo, it's totally worth it because all I got to do is like flip 10 CDs at school and I could pay for this.
Yeah.
Because back then, yeah, like kids weren't up on being able to download music and how to burn it. Nobody had burners because burners were expensive back then. So yeah, I was literally, it's crazy. Up there, I have
Yeah.
an OG stack of blank CDs from back then. Like, I think one of like the great, as you can see, like I'm a hoarder. I hoard
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So like that's one of the things like I know like I got an OG wrapped pack of like 10X CDs up there because that was my money to me. Like I would have that stack of CDs when I would bring it home from like CompUSA was where I would
Yeah.
buy
Yeah. Yeah.
the CDs. Like this 100 pack, whatever I was flipping for, if it was like $10 a CD, like about to make a stack off of.
Hell yeah.
And every day, I remember at school I would have printouts like a blank sheet of paper with lines on it.
Yeah.
I put my locker number on it. I was like, pass these out. Like, if you want CDs, it had a price on it, whatever it was, like $25 or $20.
Yeah.
You could list 20 songs on it, but I could only guarantee I'll get you 10 of them.
Yeah.
Drop it off in my locker, and let me know what locker you're at, so I could drop off your CD when it's done. Every day I was coming home with orders and ripping CDs nonstop.
That's crazy, bro. There's so many parallels between your and I's story.
And that's why we connected to begin with,
Yeah.
because we immediately recognized when we met each other and we were telling each other about ourselves, like, we're like reflections of each other in a different coast
Yeah.
of just natural hustlers, like I said, like I hustled literally everything besides drugs. That
Yeah.
I went to Costco with my mom to buy boxes of M&Ms, and I would look at it like, there's 40 packs of M&Ms in here. I'm paying $8 for it. $40. I'm gonna flip everyone for $2.
Yeah.
Like I'm a triple up or whatever it is. Like, that's where my business mentality came from.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I'm in business today. It's because of how I was as a kid.
Yeah.
And I got that from my mom. My mom was the same way.
Oh, really?
Like my mom's always been a nurse, but she was always doing something on the side. She was really into arts and crafts. So she was always slanging her arts and crafts at work. Like she would make like custom photo albums, like these photo albums that she would buy blank photo albums like this at like AC Moore,
Got you.
and then she would like design them, and people were paying her for it like that. And that's just one out of. She used to do what do they call those, flower arrangements,
Mhm.
all types of like. That's where I think a lot of my creativity came from my mom, because she did the same stuff. Like she was always hustling, doing like an extra side hustle, and she was into the arts and crafts. So I think that's where a lot of this came from.
Got you. Now, it's so crazy. Like I said, that there's so many similarities. When you meet these people, I know, like you and I, you kind of just get that feeling, right? And you're just like, yeah, this person understands what I'm going through, or understands the way that I'm thinking, or understands the way that my brain works.
Yeah.
So there was one time that you went to Complex Con Tell me about that, because I remember my first time at Complex Con, and after you told me about yours, it was like the same thing, dude. Like the same feelings that you had were the same that I got.
Yo, the first Complex Con, I had this smile that I had at Complex Con because in my mind, so outside of Eat Sleep Race, I also produce. I'm the production manager and I do the marketing for OGS 1320. And our marquee events there are H Day, formerly Honda Day, right? So obviously you're well aware of that. And that's a story of its own of how
Hmm.
I got involved with Javier and OGS 1320 because it's pretty, it's a cool story because it's full circle, right?
Yeah.
As an enthusiast, I was going to those events. I was an attendee. Fast forward, I'm the one hosting the events now, right?
Yeah.
I'm the one producing the events, and it's a crazy story because I went from a spectator to a vendor to now I'm the one, behind the scenes running the show with Javier. Like it's a pretty crazy story of how it happened, but to know how it is to produce an event, and when I went to ComplexCon, it was mind blowing what they were able to organize. It was a mesh of everything that I like as a person. I mean, you had cars there, you had celebrities there, you had music, you had art, you had clothes, you had sneakers, you had food. It was everything that this guy likes and is interested in. Because as much as I am a car guy, don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not just a car guy, and I got no shame to that. Like I like a whole lot of stuff besides cars, and this actually right here defines
Yeah.
everything that I like, and I mean, it's everything that I just said, and it was at Complex Con, and that's why I say like this smile that I have now. It was at Complex Con because I saw it all blended together, and there were so many people there that I thought it was so dope that like there's so many people interested in what I also like,
Yeah.
which is also a reason why I like to go. I've always liked going to events, race events, because it's dope, especially like at Honda Day. Going to an event where there's so many other people that enjoy what you enjoy, right? So like if you love Hondas, like going to H Day, like 10,000 people there who also like Hondas. That's dope.
Yeah.
Being around the same people with the same mindset as you. So it's the same thing at ComplexCon. Like all these people are here because we all like the same shit. So it was an ill experience, and the amount of effort that all these companies put into building out their areas and the thought process and money and time invested that I know a lot was invested to put their activations together. Like, it was such an ill experience, and it's kind of sucks that they can't do it this year because of COVID, but
Yeah.
oh yeah, they got a good thing going there.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I know that we had a conversation after Complex Con about, the growth that needs to. I mean, it doesn't need to happen. It would be very nice for it to happen if people took a little more time to focus on their presentation of their own brands, rather and stepping away from more of the swap meet style versus like a premiere style. And
And
and,
you
and
definitely took that. You went to ComplexCon, absorbed it, and then I think it was Tuner Evo where
yeah,
you did your first activation with like the brick walls. But you basically made
this
it look
this
like
is
you're
this whole
yeah,
set right here.
and that was it. I mean, that's why I like you, like as a person and as a business person. Like you're a sponge, like I am. Like I go to things, I enjoy it, but I also learn from it, and I try to apply it to what I'm doing as well. So like music festivals and all, like I love music, and I'm very open minded when it comes to music, like hip hop. Of course, I grew up on hip hop. I like literally pretty much every genre of music. I've gone to dozens of EDM festivals, like you name it. Like I'm a sponge of all these different cultures, and I try to express that in the brand. And that's also why I love the brand so much, because I get to express all these ideas inside of my head. So regardless of if it's for business or not, like I love having the brand because it's an expression of all these creative ideas that I have in my head that I'm able to bring them to life.
Yeah.
And not just for myself, but to know that other people enjoy it as well. It's like that cool satisfaction that you get. Like you create something and like, oh shit, other people like it too, type deal.
Yeah, Definitely, man. Especially like that you can mix everything, the automotive, hip hop culture, fashion, everything, and you mix it into one and then it comes out in your brand. Now, do you ever feel like you're put into a box with your brand that you can't go outside because some things don't have to do with automotive community?
No, because I'll just make it apply to automotive community, right?
Put a spark plug on there or something?
Yeah, for real. Like literally, that's what's dope about it. Because if I get influenced by something at Complex Con, like yo, that got nothing to do with motorsports, but I like it, so I'll remix it and make it related to motorsports,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of owning your own brand. There is no boundary. Like I do what I want, and that's exactly what you do with Downstar, right?
Yeah.
Like what's Downstar Skate got to do with bolt-on parts for cars? Nothing. But it's my brand. I can make it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
This is what if Downstar wants to make whatever Downstar wants to make tomorrow. Yo, that doesn't make sense. Who are you to say it doesn't make sense? It's my brand.
Yeah, you're looking at the brand in a totally different way. Yeah.
You're the brand, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you're interested in. So no,
Yeah.
there's no boundary.
Definitely. You always say about everything comes full circle, and just hearing some of the stories that you were just talking about put it all together. Isn't it crazy that with OGS you were able to do that concert series that you guys did, and that was with in part with Funk Flex? Tell me about that.
Yo,
Cuz that's like an ultimate full circle right there.
that was that's full circle right there. So Javier had and I'm just thankful Javier invited me to be part of that team
Definitely.
because that was something Javier worked out with Funk Flex on his own, and it was something like, hey, if you want to be part of this, you can, but these are the responsibilities that come along with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like hearing like the lineup that was involved with it, like this is full circle for me. Like I said, I've gone to a lot of music festivals, a lot of concerts, you name it, from Jay-Z, hip hop, EDM, you name the biggest names in all different genres. Like I've made every effort to see them live. So that's also something that I've applied to H Day events, right? Like H Day has a stage. Like
Yeah.
it was kind of an evolution to turn that stage into things that I've seen at festivals. Like, yo, we got to apply this to what we do here as well, which is why it has even more of a lifestyle element than it had, which it's always had.
Yeah.
We're just adding more to it. But yeah, it got to the pinnacle with the Flex Fest. So Javier and Funk Flex did an event in the early 2000s, and to record, I think it was the largest event at Raceway Park.
Mm.
It was Funk Flex. It was his first or second car show there, and it wasn't only a car show. They did a concert, and I was there as an attendee, like I was a spectator. Because we knew Javier as a friend back then, we just knew of each other. He invited Team Alpha to do a race exhibition.
Mm.
It was only Alpha cars that were invited. So like I said, like Alpha was well known in the area. So he only invited Team Alpha cars to race and do a drag racing exhibition. And he had Flex back then had all the biggest names there. You name it, from Fat Joe, Terror Squad,
Mm.
Busta Rhymes. So for me as a spectator, like, yo, this is ill hip hop, cars, like this is dope. And then Flex went off and grew that brand and went on tour across the U.S. He ended up getting his Ford deal and all that. That was during the dub era.
Gotcha. Yeah.
20-inch wheels were just becoming a thing back then. Chrome 20s on Fords and like Suburbans and stuff back then.
With the frog guys, I got 20-inch on the frog guys.
That was like Fast and Furious era.
Yeah.
But it stopped, and then the opportunity came back around last year where Flex was like, yo, I want to do a car show again. To him, like, yo, I did my biggest one with Javier, so he hit Javier up and was like, yo, are you interested in doing this with me? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But of course it's got to have the concert element to it because that's what you were known for. So he's like, all right, I'll leave the car thing up to you guys. I'll leave the event production up to you guys because that's what you do. Just leave the stage to me. I'll take care of the stage. So as we're planning, man, this was one of the hardest events that I personally had to plan because it was working with a team that was very unfamiliar with car shows and the process of how setting up a car event works because the team that we were working with were club promoters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because I also used to be a club promoter in college. I used to throw like the biggest, because I'm Filipino, I used to throw the biggest like college Filipino parties, and that's actually like where my promoting experience started because I was promoting club events, and that's where Javier even thought of me when he brought me into OGS. He's like, "Yo, I saw what you did in the clubs. Like, I know you have it in you. Like, I think you could do the same thing with car events. You've obviously been to all the events. You know how to promote. That's honestly the reason why like he invited me to be part of the team.
Yeah.
So knowing how a club promoter's mindset works and how a car event producer mind works, like it doesn't go the same. So it was a hard event to put together, but we did it, and it was so dope because we had DJ Khaled, DMX. We had so many headliners on stage, and it was myself, Javier, Joe Jackson, and Funk Flex. It was the four of us who put that event together. Like literally just from going to festivals as a person in the crowd and looking behind the stage and seeing what goes on back there. Like I've always, going through the years of going to festivals and concerts, like, dude, that would be dope to be part of a production like this.
Yeah.
And being part of that production with all these celebrities just walking around you and stuff, like, oh shit, full circle. This shit happened. This shit happened. And that was like I got to be extremely thankful for Javier. Like, I'm escorting fucking DJ Khaled from his car with his security walking next to him, French Montana, like, yo guys, follow me.
Yeah.
And like, I'm literally walking like, I can't believe these dudes are fucking listening to me, right? Like,
yo, sign this autograph right here. Make sure you follow me. Post me up right here.
For real, like, I'm holding my phone with DJ Khaled, like, yo, we're walking this way. Come with me. And, like, security's tapping me on my shoulder, like, yo, where are we going now? And I'm like, is this happening? Like, these dudes are literally, like, people literally celebrities. Like, DJ Khaled, A-list celebrity, talking to me like, yo, Bri, where are we going now? I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Hell
yeah. We're just standing in the backstage waiting for, like, I'm on the radio, like, yo, let me know when you guys are ready. And like, yo, Bri, we ready to go on? I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey, didn't something happen with like Casanova that day?
Oh yeah. Like, so I was working with the Bronx PD, and they literally told me and Joe, like, me and Joe were the ones responsible for working with the Bronx Police Department and like whoever, and the mayor of the Bronx and everybody, like everybody. So it was literally me, the chief of police, the mayor of Bronx, and Joe Jackson all talking to each other, and we're like, yo, these are the things that can't happen at the event, and Casanova was one of them.
Oof.
I don't know, it wasn't Casanova, it was Casanova performed.
I don't know why I thought it was Casanova.
It was Pop Smoke.
No way.
They wouldn't let Pop Smoke in.
Really?
Pop Smoke was talking shit about Bronx PD before the event happened.
Okay, got you. That's what it was.
He showed up to the event, and like all the red alarms went off, and like, yo, Pop Smoke's at the gate. The Bronx PD is gonna shut the event down. Like, oh no.
Oh.
So I remember running. I was running with Joe Jackson. Like, I found them backstage. I was like, yo, we gotta go. Like, the chief of police said they're gonna shut the shit down. So I remember we're running to the front. Like, yo, Joe was like, yo, I got this. And he's over there talking to Pop's team, and he's like, yo, you guys can't come in. Like, you're gonna ruin this. So I remember they left. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke, man.
Yeah.
That
would have been wild if we had him, though.
Yeah.
I would have been like, yo, I got to produce an event with him.
Good news, hopefully. They found the 5 people in connection with his murder today.
No way.
Mm-hmm. It was just today.
Gang affiliated or what?
I didn't really read the story. I just saw the headline to dive a little more into it. But It was dude, it's so weird just even talk about Pop Smoke. I just saw a video from PNB Rock, I believe it was, and he was on a live and he said before that Pop Smoke was shooting at some dudes, so it was like a retaliation thing. So I don't know, man. There's gonna be a lot that's gonna be uncovered, dude. But like, rest in peace to him, man. One of the
Yeah.
biggest things about that really bummed me out is it was like a week ago. A video came out of Pop Smoke from his graduation, and it said that this was like 2 years before, dude. And just like it's so sad. It really puts things into perspective that was literally a kid.
Yeah, he was literally a kid. That was sad.
Probably even
But,
when you saw him, he was even younger. You know?
and I didn't even get to see him because Joe was literally like, "Yo, bro, wait here. This might get bad." And I'm like, "All right, chill. I'm go outside." He's like, "Yo, it might." That what the crazy part is too, right? Bronx police was like, "Yo, no guns inside."
Yeah.
And I remember the meeting with Flex, and Flex is like, "Yo, they always bring guns. Like that's how they roll. Like their security, they're always strapped."
Got you.
And PD was like, "They're not bringing guns inside here."
Got you.
They had a gun check-in.
Oh shit.
So we had two separate entrances. One entrance was just for celebrities, and they had the metal detectors, and it was security deep, like police and everything. So like I remember A Boogie rolled in with like a fleet of Lamborghinis. So like as they rolled in, I remember like their security would have to take their guns out, give them to the police. The police would check them in, and they would give the guns back to them when they would leave.
Gotcha.
But I just thought that was mind blowing because I was like, "Yo, you're not supposed to carry a gun in New York.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like so illegal to carry guns in New York, but yet Flex is telling them like, yo." We know they're not supposed to carry guns, but they're gonna be carrying guns. I can't have these guys going to jail. Like, you got to work with me.
Yeah.
So PD was like, all right, listen, it's okay, but they just can't bring them in.
Gotcha.
So it's wild. Yeah, it was wild.
How was it working with Flex?
Yo, he's a real deal car guy.
Really?
He's the real deal. He's a car guy at heart. He's an American muscle dude. He's an American muscle guy. He don't like nothing but American muscle.
Got you.
And it's got classics. Like he's more of a resto guy, right? He I want to say just recently started getting into the new cars. I saw he picked up either a Hellcat or a Demon.
Got you.
But he brought out a fleet and only a couple of his collection. He brought out like 15 muscle cars, like all like old Camaros, Chevelles, like restored. And he's got a whole garage of them. That's why when he was telling Hob, he's like, yo, how many cars could I bring? Because we were limited on space. We're like, yo, you can only bring like this many. And he's like, dang, yo, I want to bring like whatever, 20, 30. Because that's how many he has. And we're like, no, yo, like we got to leave space for the competitors or like for the people. He's like, all right, I'll let them show off. But he's like, when we get a bigger space, I got a whole lot more cars to bring. But yeah, he's the real deal car guy. Like that's the reason why he wanted to do the event, because for him, like I'm saying, like I like cars, clothes, kicks, music. For him, he likes music and cars, and muscle cars. So Flex Fest is like, that's his deal. Like it's a combination of both for him.
I love it, dude. I remember seeing his Chevelle. I think he had it was like a red Chevelle at SEMA.
Oh, the new joint, the one that
2019, yeah.
That one was hard.
Yeah, she was dripping, dude. Now I remember, I think it was DJ Envy and 50 Cent also had a show out there.
Yeah, they had one a couple weeks after us. But it's a lot different. DJ Envy's it's a smaller car show. I went to it.
Got you.
It's in a convention center, which isn't that big, so Envy packed it. Ours was a full concert production. Like we had stage and sound at any festival concert that you would, right? Full production, LED screens, full lighting. Like if you went to a Travis Scott concert, we had the same production of stage that they have, At Envy's, he had, carnival stage with house speakers, and I thought kind of a bummer there. And he didn't have the headlining the A, B, C list celebrities that we had performing. I mean, Khaled, Casanova, A Boogie.
It was like a summer jam.
It literally was. It was like it was kind of the same lineup that Summer Jam would have, and the way it happens is, Flex is just so respected in New York. Like if you were in New York that day, like you came through,
Mm,
and we had a lot of surprise guests, like Designer,
mm.
DMX wasn't even supposed to be there, but it was just people who were, yeah, I'm in the city, I'm coming through.
Got you, got you, got
And
you.
then when they're there, like Flex, he just got that. People got to get paid to perform,
Yeah,
but Flex just got that much influence. Like, yo, if Designer's here, like he wants to do it on the strength.
yeah,
Like, yo, he's the one. Like, yo, can I get on stage? Like, yeah, you could get on stage. We didn't have you booked, but go ahead, because
yeah.
it's just the vibe there. Like, yo, this is dope. I gotta hit the stage. So I remember getting the call like, we have a guy here named Designer, like from the gate. I was like, yeah, let him in. It's like, all right,
Dope.
he's coming in. They're like, who's coming to get him? I was like, I'll come and get him. So I remember I still got the FaceTime. I was like, yo, he's like, where are we going? Like, this dude's like 7 foot tall, and yo, he's exactly how he is, like how Designer is in how you see him, like get, like
Yeah,
rah.
yeah.
Like that's how he talks. It's
And
kind of
he
weird.
talks in ad libs.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of, but no, that's he plays his part.
Dope, man. When I saw you guys have that event, I really, really wanted to be out there. There was some kind of conflict. We were
I
on
was telling you,
vacation.
if
Yeah,
there was a trip that you could have came to and had, like backstage access to, like you
yeah.
would have got it, and you didn't come. It was a shame
I would
because
have
that was,
loved it, bro. There was a conflict, and I was like, shit, we were gonna go on vacation or be out of town or something like that. But hopefully you guys do another one, man. But I just don't even know if any of that shit's gonna go down.
yeah, we were supposed to do it this year, but yeah, we started the planning back in January, and then obviously when this all hit,
Yeah.
we just made the call like, yo, let's not put any effort anymore.
So let's get into your time with OGS and H Day. How long have you been with the team?
Hmm. I want to say 7, 8 years now.
Got you, got you.
Back when I started, it was still Honda Day,
Yeah.
and then yeah, renamed it H Day. I made the new logo for H Day. Um, yeah, so that was back in, I want to say 2011. I was at IBOC meet
Uh huh.
in California with Eat Sleep Race, and then obviously I've always been friendly with Javier because I've been going to his events as a spectator then vendor. We've always been friendly, and then he came up to me at IBOC meet at the booth, and he's like, "Yo, like, you still working in the city?" Because back then I was working at it. I've always worked. I've always had Eat Sleep Race, and I was always working a full-time job somewhere.
Got you.
So even though I've had Eat Sleep Race for all these years, like I've always worked a full-time job, and Eat Sleep Race was always my side thing. It was always something that I did after hours. It was like the thing that I look forward to after work. Like, all right, after work I get to go work on my brand.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
And at that time I was working in the city. I worked in the city for 5 years out, after I graduated from Rutgers. And he was like, yo, like, would you quit your job and come work with me and host the events and produce the events? And I was like, yeah. Like, wait, there's an opportunity to get out of that cubicle? Like, yeah, I'm out.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say 2012 was that year, and then yeah, it hit the ground running. I was, I want to say the first person, or he hired somebody, but she didn't last for too long. But I was basically the first person Javier um hired back then to start running, to help run the events. So it's been a huge learning experience since then. And yeah, so we do H Day, Street Wars, Ratchet Fridays. Back then, we used to do an event called Fast Fest Live, which was a spin-off of SummerSlam, Fall Nationals, Spring
Mm.
Nationals. We used to do Mitsubishi versus Evo. We used to do America Fridays. And I say used to because we used to do all these events at Raceway Park. That was our local track. I mean, that track is only 20 minutes from my house, but unfortunately, they got rid of the drag strip. So that definitely changed how OGS does business, because now we host our events all across the East Coast now. We do
Yeah.
events in Florida, Maryland, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. Like we've got events all over now. So we used to only do events at Raceway Park. I think the most events that we did in one year at Raceway Park was close to 30. It was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild. Yeah, it was definitely had our hands full, plate full,
Yeah.
and blessed because it was only 20 minutes from the house. So I was working at the OGS warehouse, which isn't far from here either, and then going to the track. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of work, bro. All these weekends that I had out there, and I just see you and Javier and the other guys just going, man. It seems like it's a lot of tasks. So tell me what it's like the few days before an H day, say like the big summer H day. Well, what is all that like for you, dude? How do you manage all that?
It's been a different experience, like every event now, because since we've left the Raceway Park, working with new tracks and doing, I'm literally responsible for everything from hiring over, 80 people, managing over 80 staff, doing the event production from layout to everything that you can imagine on the back end of planning the event. I'm pretty much responsible for. So it's stressful.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of anxiety days leading up to the event, especially when going to a new track for the first time. It's hair pulling, guessing and assuming what's going to happen at new tracks. Even when we were at old tracks at Raceway Park, there was always something changing and layout changing, or we noticed this was wrong last time. Let's fix it and hope it works this time. So, yeah, it's tough, but through the years we've learned to change it and have managers for different departments. So now it's a lot easier, because back when I started, I was literally talking to 80 to over 100 different people, and I'm just talking staff and not including vendors, sponsors, and all that, and track staff. And when you put all those together, it's like over 200-300 people that I was personally communicating with. But now I've simplified it, and we have managers for different departments. So we have our tech department, we have our car show department, we have our parking department, we have our merch department, front gate security. So I'll say, like, maybe instead of dealing with dozens and dozens of people, now I'm dealing with less than a dozen managers, and now those managers I could directly communicate with, and they pass the word down to their team. So it's been a learning process, definitely evolving, and it's what you would think it would be to produce a large event.
Yeah, definitely, man. So H Day, we got a couple events coming up. The next one is August 15th and 16th in New Hampshire.
Yeah, so this year's been crazy, because of COVID. We lost. So it's pretty crazy, right? From going to 30 events in one year to this year we had 2 so far.
Yeah.
And usually our busiest is from April or March to May. Mm-hmm. Like we're nonstop when March hits. And this year we had one event in Florida and one event in Maryland, and that was it. And then COVID hit and everything stopped. So world went upside down for us, because we're usually, for my past 8 years, from March, I'm just nonstop every weekend, cranking a new event, adding a new event. Even with ESR is doing pop-up shops at all different events. So managing the road show for Eat Sleep Race, and then doing all the events for OGS, it's just nonstop. And that's how I liked it. I liked being busy, to everything coming to a complete stop, to nothing. Like there's nothing.
Not even leaving.
There's a lot to be scared for, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of anxiety hit when March happened, and so now fortunately we're getting back in the groove of things. We have some events planned. The first thing we got coming up, July 24th at Cecil County Dragway, I got Ratchet Fridays. That's going to be the first Ratchet Fridays in Maryland, and again, brand new venue, first time we're ever going there. So there's going to be a lot of anxiety leading up to that. We don't know how that's going to work out with rolling and logistics of learning how that track lays out. Then we have H Day, August 15 and 16, New Hampshire, New England Dragway. Then September 19 and 20 again at Cecil County Dragway in Maryland. So that's going to be the first time H Day's going there. And again, a lot of anxiety thinking of how to plan that one out.
Yeah,
New layout, a lot more people than Ratchet Fridays would have. So yeah, there's a lot of good things to look forward to.
definitely, man.
And I think with things loosening up with COVID, I think we're going to get those events on.
I love it, man. Hopefully everything does work out because I'm looking forward to hitting some events up for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Now, big shout out to Javier and OGS. I like to think of him as one of my mentors, dude. Ever since I've known him, he's always given me great advice and another perspective, a way to look at things, and understood that probably what he's seen in you, that you have more potential, but you just need to see a little guidance, or just to have somebody speak to you in that way, and
Right.
I've always appreciated his insight. So big shout out to Javier, the whole OGS team. And dude, I wish you guys the best on these upcoming events.
Appreciate
And
it.
and you know that we always have your back, whether we can be at the event or not. We'll definitely make our presence felt for sure.
Appreciate it.
So you touched on a couple things, man, which was the anxiety, and that's something that we've had talks about off air and personal conversations, and you've actually really changed my life with one of the pieces of advice that you gave me, which was to try out CBD drops, and that was probably maybe like March, April of 2019, and ever since then I've been on it every single day, and it's really helped me dial in the to understand why I'm feeling how I am and what I can do, and when I need to take the CBD. So let me know when did you understand that you had an issue with anxiety, and how were you able to determine what it really was?
Life, I just told you, like, I'm involved with a lot of things when business wise, so it catches up. There's a lot that needs to go right. So when a lot needs to go right and a lot of things are depending on decisions that I have to make, anxiety comes along with it. It's part of the business, right? It's part of owning a business, and it's part of doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
So anxiety, I also believe, comes with wanting to do a good job. If you have that pressure to perform and do the best that you can do, it's natural that you're going to get stress and anxiety for wanting to do your best. And that's the way that I feel when in life. I just want to do the best that I could do. So that's, as things grew, as business was growing, as OGS was growing, more opportunities were coming up. I was just putting more onto my plate, and it was welcomed opportunity, but along with opportunity comes challenges. So naturally anxiety came with that, and I realized it was anxiety because I would feel it physically. I would feel it in my chest, I would feel it in my head. And I discovered CBD after just researching like ways to alleviate anxiety. And CBD is only one of the things that helped me deal with stress. Meditation, meditation, prayer. I won't get too deep into it, but I'm a big believer of faith. I do know I'm blessed, and a lot of everything that happens in life, I'm thankful and blessed for. And I know it's not for my own doing. I know it's a greater good that's blessed me with the opportunity for that. But beyond that, I do know that when with opportunity comes the stress, and we need, as people, especially now that I'm a father, there's a lot more people relying on me, so it stresses me out even more.
Yeah.
So I got to put you on game on some other things that I've been trying out. I've been doing teas, like stress relieving teas, and I do those at nighttime. Those help me sleep a lot more relaxed. And actually, something I bought over the counter at Target, I forgot the brand. It's in this blue container. It just says stress on it.
Uh-huh.
and I got it. Remind me later. I'll send you a picture of it.
Okay.
Yeah, those things work really well. Like I want to say might even hit faster than CBD. Like literally when
Really?
I get them, like that the feeling. So when I get anxiety, like I feel like there's a weight on me. I feel like there's weight pushing me down, and I feel sluggish,
Yeah.
and I feel my heart like beating a lot faster when I take these gummies. Like it with CBD
Really?
with CBD, it takes a little bit longer for it to go away,
Okay.
and who knows if it's placebo effect or not. But
Either
I do
way,
know whether it is or not, as long as it works, right? Who cares?
definitely.
As long as it's not fucking me up, like as long as it's not something addictive, it's legal. That's the biggest thing that matters for me. As long as it's legal. Unfortunately, out here, recreational marijuana is not legal.
Still?
So no, it's not like in Cali where you could just go buy it.
Oh my
Because if
God.
it was here, I'd try it more.
Yeah.
Like like CBD works because it takes the I used to know the medical terms a lot more than I could remember it now, but the calming effects of marijuana is
Hmm.
what is in CBD,
Without the
right?
psychoactive.
Without the psychedelic, right? So the psychedelic side of it, which I believe is the THC,
Yes.
right? So CBD. So if I'm not mistaken, marijuana is a combination of THC and CBD.
Hmm.
So it only takes the cannabinoid, which is the relaxing element of marijuana, and yeah, I before I started taking it because I didn't know what it was, I did a lot more research and I was very educated on it to enough that like, all right, I'll try it out and shit, it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that definitely that definitely helped, and it's one of the things that I use daily that helps me, function.
Yeah. Likewise, man. When you told me about it, it was that same day. I left that afternoon and went to one of our local smoke shops and picked up a bottle of CBD. And just like you said, man, whether it's placebo or not, it doesn't matter. If it works, it works. And
100%. As
and
long as
it's
it works.
definitely worked for me, and it's just helped keep the irritability down. That feeling of the weight that you say. I understand that so much. And it's just because we put so much pressure on ourselves that it's just natural that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I
And
mean, for anybody dealing with anxiety, I mean, there's a lot of things that you could try, and you got to literally see what works for you. If CBD doesn't work on some people, exercising does.
yeah,
Like so. There's so many good things that you could do for yourself, like exercising daily, whether it's weightlifting or cardio, whatever you could find and you could enjoy, and you don't see it as a burden to do,
yeah,
something that you could look forward to doing, which is also healthy for your mind, body, and mind, body, and soul. It's
hmm,
the three things that need to work together for you to function. It's I'd recommend everything. You got to eat healthy, you got to work out, and there's all these different supplements that you could try as well. And then you also, when you got to stay healthy, you got to stay healthy, physical and mental, right?
yeah,
So there's not one quick solution to, hey, I'm dealing with anxiety, how do I get rid of it? Like
yeah,
it's not easy. I mean, another thing too that I've always recommended to you is to talk to somebody, talk to a professional,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
people deal with things in life that their friends and their family don't have the answers to, and that's the reason why professionals exist. They have jobs as professional therapists because they know how to they know how to guide you to solve issues that you're dealing with, and a lot of people promote a lot of celebrities promote this because it's just the truth. As life goes on and things get more difficult, the people around you are unable to help you solve the problems that you're going through.
yeah,
So seeking therapy, and it's a taboo. It's something that a lot of people do, but they don't talk about.
yeah,
And it's not something to be ashamed of. It's highly recommended because people build careers for helping people,
hmm,
right? It's literally, there shouldn't be a stigma around getting professional help because it works.
yeah,
I've told you that, like I've dealt with things in life that nobody around me could help me solve, and professional help works. Like
yeah.
they don't have the answers, but they know how to guide you to solve your problems.
Got you. Is that something that you're regularly on now? Is seeing a
No,
therapist?
No, I actually, I probably should go back, and it's something that a lot of people around me I know do regularly,
Yeah.
whether weekly or monthly, and that's healthy. That's something I have to admit I need to work back into my routine, because whether you're dealing with something or not, it's just always good to vocalize. th- they talk to you in a manner in which you talk about things that you didn't even know were bothering you. Like, oh
Mm.
shoot, maybe that's why I was getting anxiety, because I didn't even know I was worried about that. But now that I'm aware that I'm worried about that, I'm gonna solve that so I'm not worried about it no more.
Got you.
It's cool shit, man. It's cool stuff. And if you got insurance, it's free.
Yeah, you
Like,
know what? I'm definitely gonna look into that. That's something that I've been wanting to do, but just procrastinating. But I would love for it to be just like a weekly thing, you know?
it's one of those, an hour a month, an hour a week. It's something that I need to get back to doing. It's time well worth invested, and that actually, yeah, it helped back when I was going through problems I didn't know how to solve on my own. It definitely helped me, and I highly, highly recommend it. It should be as simple as like going to the dentist or something, like
Yeah.
how people go to the dentist, or they're going to their doctor to get a checkup. Go to my therapist to get a mental checkup.
Yeah, that when it was brought up to my attention like that, it was way easier to accept it than the traditional way of having to see a therapist because it always had just such a bad stigma to it.
And I think that we're talking about it because for other people to also realize it too, because the reason why I went was because people around me told me that they went, and honestly I would have never went if they no one ever said that they went,
Yeah.
because it's that stigma around it, right? But then when people I know who went, who I respect and who I see it worked for, like, oh snap, I knew you were going through some stuff and you're good now. Like, yo, it's because of that. Like, all
Yeah.
right, bet. Like, I'm gonna go try it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, like trying massage therapy, right? Like, yo, my back hurts. Like, I'm trying to fix it on my own. Like, yo, go see a masseuse. They're gonna
Yeah.
fix it for you. Kind of like that. Like, yo, I got some things in here I don't know how to fix. Well, bro, you ain't gonna fix it on your own. There's a professional out there who could help you.
Yeah. Dope, man. I appreciate you talking about that because I know a lot of people listening. They're probably going through a lot of things as well, especially in this time that we're
Bro,
in right now.
this time for sure, because I will be one to admit, living in New Jersey and going through this whole COVID thing, man. April, this was I got caught up in the media, got caught up in reading the news every hour, refreshing, and dude, man, 2020, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't doubt, a lot of people right now, it would definitely help. It
Even
would
having
help.
conversations with friends. I know you and I have had multiple conversations. We'll just talk for an hour or so, just about whatever issues that are going on in our own lives and just, throw them at each other. And, if at the end of the day, at the least that we could get is just to actually have somebody listen to that issue, that's a benefit. But a lot of the time you'll get some benefit out of it for sure.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So let's talk about the next milestone that's happened in your life and possibly one of the biggest, if not the biggest. Your baby boy come in.
Yeah, so he's here. He's a month old, and man, ain't nobody. I've done lessons. I've read books. I've done like the courses.
Yeah,
I've talked to a lot of friends that were parents, and nothing. I can't say anything prepared me for what it is to be a dad. There's so much responsibility, and thankfully, I have a great wife who is a super mom, and I see her with my son, and I kind of it's like disbelief, like, moms get like this superpower when they have
yeah,
their kids to take care of them, and like, and I'm tired, and I see her functioning. I'm like, shh, how do you do it?
yeah,
And the what goes on in your head, like no one could prepare you, like when you actually see your son and you're with him, you're responsible for this person's life. Like it's trip it's I couldn't even write a book on it, and I'll be writing books now. So I'll actually mention that, because I'll say I gotta mention this, like the evolution of Eat Sleep Race,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Eat Sleep Race, it's always been something that it exists, and all the designs and all the collections and everything that we make exists because it relates to my life and what I'm interested in. And 2 years ago, I created this book for kids. It's a kids book,
So it's a
and
ABCs for future race car drivers for
right,
Fast Kids Club for people that are just listening.
yeah. So we created a new brand called Fast Kids Club, and it's under the umbrella of Eat Sleep Race. And the reason why we created this new brand is my brother had kids well before I did. I have two nephews, and because of them, like, dang, I like kids.
Yeah.
I'm more kids clothes, so my nephews could rock Eat Sleep Race. So I was making kids clothes that said Eat Sleep Race on it, and then just on the whim, I didn't know how to make books.
Yeah.
I had this. I saw other ABC books out there, and I was like, yo, that would be ill if there was like an ABC book for car parts.
S for spark plugs. T is for turbo.
Right.
Dope. P is for piston. So everybody listening right now, if you want to check the book out, you go to the YouTube video or check out what's the Instagram for Fast Kids Club.
At Fast Kids Club or fastkidsclub.com, eatsleeprace.com, you could see this book on there. And yeah, so I designed it, and then I was like, man, how do you make a book? So
Yeah.
just like I told you with Eat Sleep Race, with everything, I just figured out how to do it on my own. I didn't go through a publisher. This book's self-published. Did everything from scratch, from design to production to distribution.
Wow.
This is now #1 best-selling motorsports book on Amazon.
Whoa.
It's been like that for over a year. We won 2 awards at PRI for most innovative product in motorsports. Like, this book has been the evolution of Eat Sleep Race, and I'll say without this book, we wouldn't be where we are currently, because this book has taken us to that level, right? So with Eat Sleep Race, we were that local New Jersey brand, only known at New Jersey events, because of Pacific Rim and because of the exposure that we got on Super Street and Import Tuner, thanks to Carter and Jonathan JDM Wong.
Mm-hmm.
Because of those 2 guys at SEMA that I randomly walked up to, and I told them, I was like, yo, you guys got this magazine, why don't you feature clothes in it? I'll cut that story short. It was at a Honda after party.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were standing together, and I knew of them because I saw them in the magazine. And back then, social media wasn't a thing. Internet was just starting. I was like, yo, I saw pictures of these guys. I know they're the editors of the book. I got Eat Sleep Race. I walked up to them. I was like, yo, I know you guys are Import Tuner and Super Street. They're like, yeah, what's up? I was like, I got this brand called Eat Sleep Race. And I was like, I just got to mention one thing. It's not even about my brand. It's just about the culture, right? I think if you guys don't know about it, streetwear is huge right now for fashion. There's a lot of car guys that like fashion. It would be cool if you guys featured like brands like the Hundreds and Streetwear and Supreme in the magazine, just to showcase it, because other people could relate to it. Like, yo, that's a cool idea. Gave them my business card. They randomly hit me up like, yo, could you send us some merch? Cool. Saw it in an issue, and like that, our website went from like here to fucking here
Really?
overnight.
Whoa.
And it was credited to those 2 guys because it was Super Street first and Import Tuner next. So if our online sales were like this, when Super Street hit, it was like this, and then when Import Tuner hit, it was like this, and then it just stayed. It was because of those guys that we turned into, we ended up getting nationwide, worldwide exposure because of a conversation that I had at SEMA. And they did what I told them, what I recommended they should do.
Yeah.
Like, they just added fashion, like 2-3 pages of, whatever fashion was. Like, they included some t-shirts and whatnot, and they added my t-shirts to it, and people liked it when they saw it. And back then, magazines were were it.
Yeah.
So people were reading the magazines, they saw our brand, and that's what gave us the exposure. So I remember I always thank Carter and Jonathan for, giving us that opportunity and that exposure, because that definitely took us to that level. So I'll say there were turning points, right? It was, all right, we gave ourselves local exposure, that gave us nationwide exposure, and then it was a decade later.
Yeah.
It put us on a different level, different scale, because like I said, this is the #1 best-selling book, motorsports book on Amazon, and with this is just the beginning of, you're gonna see it soon. Like, stay tuned for what's coming next with Fast Kids Club, because we're gonna be announcing it pretty soon. So check out the social media. Make sure you follow at Fast Kids Club. We've got some cool stuff in the works. So this is now, Fast Kids Club is a brand of its own, dedicated to inspiring the youth to love motorsports. And it's so awesome now that I have a son of my own, and showing him cars. And I mean, he's too young to even realize what he's looking at, but like, I get a kick out of it. And now I know the feeling that other fathers have, trying to get their kids and inspiring their kids to love racing and cars and motorsports, like watching races. Like, I'm watching F1, I'm watching NASCAR, and with my son next to me, like, you don't know what you're looking at, but what you're listening to, like, dude, I hope you get addicted to this like I am.
Yeah.
And this is something that helps, because literally, like, I love reading this book to them, because it's putting this into their thought process already, right?
Yeah.
So we've got some things releasing this year that are going to be the evolution of this, to continue inspiring this next generation to love motorsports like we love it.
I love it, man. You're inspiring me, B.
Yeah,
I love it, man.
It's the truth. It's awesome. I mean, and I created this with my nephews in mind, and now having my son, it's just pushing me even more forward. Of like, I got to make sure this next generation is like, I kind of feel I have a responsibility now with this brand to make sure the youth loves and continues the passion for motorsports like we do.
Now your wife, she's an entrepreneur as well, right?
Yeah, so she has her doctorate in physical therapy, and she is now a certified, and she's a professional in permanent makeup. So she's in the beauty industry now. So you could check out her Instagram at Brow Beauty Co. She's now, it's actually crazy. She was ready to open up her new office right before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, she couldn't open. So actually, it's ironic we're speaking today, because today is the first day she went back to the office since COVID happened, and tomorrow she has her first appointment. So
nice. It's
pretty dope that, the entrepreneurial spirit has, I'm able to work with her on a new venture that she's working on, and yeah, it's pretty dope.
Now, was that something that was contagious from being around you, or she had that already in her?
She could tell you more than I could say, but when I met her, she was in school for her doctorate, and she wanted to open up her own practice back then for physical therapy. So I would say, like, I didn't tell her like to open a business or whatnot. Like, that was always a passion of hers. It's after working in the healthcare industry and the physical therapy industry for quite a few years, she just learned that it wasn't for her. So she made an industry switch, and now she's in beauty, and it's still an awesome opportunity, because it's crazy, yo. You see her handwriting, it's out of artwork. Like, her handwriting I saw her handwriting from when she was a kid, when she was cleaning out her house, and I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy how neat and precise your handwriting was at like first and second grade. And she said, like, her teachers always told her, like, yo, it's unbelievable how nice of handwriting you have. So when she told me, she was like, I want to get into permanent makeup, and permanent makeup is kind of like tattooing.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're so precise, and you have a skill. Like, she's an artist. She truly is an artist in what she does. I was like, that makes sense that you should be doing permanent makeup. Like, you're doing, like, she does a lot of eyebrows and a lot of stuff on people's face.
Yeah.
You got to be precise with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's basically imagine getting like the Gucci Mane tattoo on your face. Like, yeah, it's permanent. You know about that. You got the Gucci Mane tattoo on the integra.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when, especially for girls, like, they're doing this for their eyebrows, for for their lips. Like this, you got to be precise, and she's the perfect person for it. Like if there was something for her to come together and put her skills together like that, it works for her.
Dude, I love it, man. You guys are a great family, bro, and I wish you guys the best. And I look forward to your son growing up, man. He's
Yeah.
one day him and Christian could be hanging out, in the future at an event or something.
Christian, like how old's Christian now?
He's 13, so he'll probably be
Man,
running the booth.
13 years apart. That's a big gap.
Yeah. When you think about it like that, but there's a lot of people that I associate with now, and if you look at the age differences, it's like wow, it's huge. Even my guy Alex that's working here right now, he's gonna be 21 this year,
Oh wow, he's young.
and I'm 35.
Yeah, I'm
It's
35 too. Sheesh.
it's dope. It's good to have younger people around because it makes you feel young, and you stay tapped in to the younger demographic. I feel that's a big benefit too, is to never get too old and to get out of touch in times and what's really going on.
Yeah, I feel that's the demise of growing up. A lot of people get stuck in the culture that they were raised in. Like I saw it a lot in the hip hop community, right?
Yeah,
As there was
definitely.
transition in music. So we'll just talk about music real quick.
Yeah,
Like with hip hop, there was the Jay-Z Nas era, and the evolution of that switching into what's it? It's not even classic hip hop. It's your boom bap hip
yeah,
hop. So your boom bap into your mainstream hip hop, and I would classify that as like your DJ Khaled's, Drake.
hmm,
That the next Meek Mill was that next generation, and now your Lil Uzi Vert's, the Baby, Lil
yeah,
Baby. There's three different generations right there, and these OG guys like the Jay-Z Nas guys hate these two other generations.
yeah.
That also reflects in the way that they function in the world because they're kind of no longer relevant.
Mm-hmm.
You're old school,
Yeah,
and if you're running a brand, especially a lifestyle brand, you're stuck in the past. You're not evolving, and that's why I'm glad I'm so open minded and I enjoy different genres of music and whatnot because to be honest, like music, everything is influenced by music. Culture is influenced by music. Fashion is influenced by music. Um, to know that because I like new music now. I like all the new hip hop, everything that's relevant today. It's
yeah,
kind of keeps us intact. Like I know you appreciate it as well.
definitely.
But oh, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people around me that can't stand like today's hip hop.
Yeah, I've had a lot of conversation with those people as well, and I come to the conclusion that they're missing out, and they're just trying to hold on to something that really doesn't exist anymore. That's like just watching movies from the 80s and 90s and not watching anything else just because that's your generation that you grew up in. I really feel like this music, they attach feelings and memories to that music, so when they find something new they can't really attach anything to it because that's not the times that they were out hanging out with their friends or going out partying or anything like that. They live in that era, and even guys our age or even younger, they're just like, oh, Tupac and Biggie, that's all I listen to. I'm like, bro, they died before, when they were like 24, 25. They didn't even know much what was going on, and you're stopping yourself from enjoying anything else from 95 up. Come on, dude, you can't tell me that everything is just trash that's out right now. And it's very frustrating, but it's to a point where if you have a conversation about music, but to me
It's
they're
so
just really missing out on things.
because music is that cultural. No matter what, if you're into motorsports or whatever you're interested in, music is that one thing that people could agree to disagree on, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a common ground, and literally culture, everything comes back to music.
yeah. With
It's dope.
yeah, even culture too. Like we're talking about Complex Con. The only reason Complex Con is even around is because of hip hop music and culture. And if it
Yeah.
wasn't around, then it would just be a Magic trade show. That's all it would be.
But even with Magic Trade Show, who did these brands rely on to identify themselves with and
Yeah,
to help push their brands?
definitely.
Rappers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Who made these brands cool? Who made LRG cool? Who made, Fubu cool?
yeah,
I mean, Damon John will admit Fubu became a thing in the 90s because of LL Cool J and the rappers that he was friends with locally. Like, all these brands accredit themselves to music in some manner. And, like, I'll say myself, like, my brand is heavily influenced by the music that I listen to.
yeah,
It's the culture around it. I mean, some of the things I can't agree on. Like, I don't like some music that's out now, and I don't like some fashion that's out now, but I'm aware of it. I
yeah,
respect. So it's another thing from being aware of it, and another thing from just, nah, I'm only into the 90s.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you. So,
I'm not.
what
I don't need to ask.
what do you? Speaking of masks, let's go to that, dude. Speaking of masks, I saw. I want to talk about some of the new stuff that you're coming out with for Eat Sleep Race. I know you guys had the mask came out, and it wasn't just a regular mask. I remember when you came out with the mask, it was the way that I would have designed it, with a filter in mind and with safety in mind, and fashion coming after that, but still entangled in it. So, how's that going for you?
Yeah, so that's a cool thing that happened out of COVID. Of or we lost these events. Dang, there's a health issue going on right now. I don't know how to make masks, but wearing masks, from I educated myself, it's healthy. It's it's a sign of respect at this point for
Mm-hmm.
your life and others' lives. Whether there's a lot of mask haters right now, but the truth is, some places, especially New Jersey, it's just law. You got to wear a mask now. Like, you
Yeah,
can't go in certain stores without a mask. And there's people that don't agree with it. But truth is, well, if you want to walk into some of these places, you got to wear a mask.
yeah,
So I'm saying the mask that we made, it's not, it's no N99, N95 mask. It's not a surgical mask. I wouldn't recommend this mask to be worn if you're going to the hospital with COVID patients. But I will say that it is better than not wearing a mask. And I will be one to admit, when all this started happening, like, I've always worn a mask. Like, as soon as this started to hit, like, even before ESR started wearing having or making masks, I was wearing surgical masks,
mm-hmm.
just because, like, if I cough, I didn't want to get it anywhere. If I sneezed, I didn't want to get anywhere. Like, I just sneezed right now. I would hate for that to happen in public without me wearing a mask.
Yeah,
Like, feel kind of ashamed, and that's
yeah,
just me. Like, oh shit, people are judging me now. Like, I'm
yeah,
healthy. Yeah. I'm healthy, but if I had a mask, nobody would even care different, right? So yeah, it's cool. So Eat Sleep Race, we learned how to create masks, and now we have several styles. You can see them all on eatsleeprace.com. And I know you got your cult thing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Could we do a thing where uh we do a giveaway? So
Hell
we
yeah.
have one masks, right? We got gaiters, we got face masks. Could we do a giveaway where somebody could win all the masks that we make?
Dude, let's do it, man. Guys, if you want to join the cult, make sure you text right now 818-403-3473. 818-403-3473. Just add us
That's
to
the
your.
only win. You got to be part of the cult.
Yeah, you have to be part of the cult. So this
Yeah,
is probably the only time you're even going to hear about this giveaway if you're not in the cult. So make sure you add yourself to the cult. I appreciate that, man.
yeah.
Um,
So we'll do that. We'll do a giveaway.
thank
Like, if
you.
you're part of the cult, you'll have an opportunity to win one of every mask that we make. And I'll leave it to you how to run that contest.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
that'd be
Sweet.
tight.
Now, one other cool
Yeah.
thing that I saw you working on, and we were talking about it behind the scenes, was your the 3D. What do you call them? The door openers.
3D printer. Yo, it's crazy. So the door thing is just a funny thing or it's a cool thing that my nephew made when all this was happening. My cousin my cousin-in-law hit me up and he's like, yo, your nephew has been crazy with 3D printers. Like, we got a bunch of 3D printers at the crib and they're showing me. I was like, yo, that's wild. Like, what does he make? He's like, he just makes like random stuff. Like, he designs random stuff. And this kid's like 13 years old, right? So I'm mind blown. Like, yo, I didn't even know Reed was like talented like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yo, check this out. He made this for you. I was like, what is it? He's like, yo, you seen like the ads on Facebook for like those door openers, touchless door openers? I was like, yo, that's tight.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna send it to you. I was like, yo, like, send it. Like, I'll order them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this kid like sells stuff on eBay that he makes on his printers, right? I was like,
Yeah.
yo, I'll order these from him so that I could give them away to people. Like, we're not even gonna sell them. I just want to give them away. And he's like, oh, how about we just send you the file and you buy your own 3D printer? I was like, nah, chill. I don't want to buy a 3D printer. And then he told me how much it was. I didn't even know you could get a 3D printer for like $300 now.
Yeah.
I was
Sick.
like, what? So he's like, yo, you could make these at your house with this printer. And he's like, it's a really good printer for $300. I was like, oh, that's tight. So yeah, I bought the printer. I literally don't know how to use it on my own yet because there's a lot of software. But he was like, yo, it's as simple as you buy the printer, follow the instructions, set it up, and then I'm gonna send you a SD card. Put the SD card in it, and then it's gonna detect the file. All you got to do is press print. I was like, and it was literally that simple.
No way.
He sent me the SD card. I put it in the slot. Something popped up, and I just pressed print, and the thing's making stuff. That machine's been running nonstop in my garage since last Thursday. Like, we made hundreds of these like keyless door opener things, but we don't sell them. We've been giving them away with orders.
Sick, dude. I'm gonna pick up one of those 3D machines for sure.
No, it's tight, and especially for kids now, like for them to express their creativity. Like, yo, I couldn't imagine to have one of these when I was when I was in a grade school, high school. Like, I would have made some ill stuff, like with all the time.
Yeah.
Like now, like he's showing me stuff that you can make. I'm like, yo, I don't even have like with everything going on, like I don't have time to mess around on the printer yet. I was like, and especially like this printer's working around the clock making these giveaway things because we promised people we'd give them away. Like, I got to keep making them.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you should get a second printer. I was like, yo, now you get that. Now we're talking a little too far still. I don't even got time to design stuff on my own yet.
So
I don't doubt that I could figure out how to design this stuff. It's just it's time consuming.
Yeah, I love it, man. You're very creative, dude, and I love to see everything that you come out with. And when I saw you making those, I was like, oh shit, that's awesome, dude.
Don't get me wrong, I didn't make that. A 13-year-old made that, which is even cooler. Like, yo, he designed that on his own.
Very cool, man.
And my buddy who does know about 3D printing, he got one, and he was like, yo, he did a really good job. Like, I guess like he put all these X's in it, which made it a lot stronger, which like you can't break it.
Gotcha.
And he's like this wasn't a simple design. Like, he actually put some effort into this. I was like, yeah, that's tough. Like, so I hit him up. I was like, yo, you're creative, bro.
Nice. So
who knows? Kids are, like I said, like when I was a kid, I tried everything from like karate, taekwondo, and all this baseball, soccer, you name it. And I just found what I was good at, which was ended up being designing. Like, it's pretty dope as a kid. Like, if you have access to a 3D printer, you never knew you could design stuff. They might, these kids might end up being engineers.
Yeah, definitely.
Building car parts or whatever it is, like rocket ship parts, all because of a $200, $300 3D printer. That's pretty tight.
Yeah, possibilities are endless, man. So, from a lot of these stories that you've talked about and a lot of your accomplishments, I see one relating factor is that you have a good way of seeing opportunity and capitalizing on it. Whether it's just being at SEMA and seeing Jonathan Wong and the other gentleman and just going up and presenting that idea. How do you recognize opportunity, and how do you get the courage to capitalize on that opportunity?
That's something you realize as an entrepreneur. Opportunity is what pushes you forward. So if you miss it, you're gonna regret it. So right, if you in business, when you realize there's an opportunity and you don't do it, you're always gonna look back and what if?
Yeah.
I hate what ifs. So which is the reason why I try, even as a kid, I tried a lot of different things because I personally hate the what if feeling.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what if I tried baseball? What if I tried karate? What if I tried DJing? What if, like, I love DJing. What if I'd never tried it and I was actually really good at it?
Mm-hmm.
And I could have been on stage. But because I tried it, I know I'm not good at it, right?
Yeah.
So I go as a enthusiast and as a fan because I respect what you do because I know I can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's those things. It's these networking opportunities. If I see somebody, like, that's what gives me the courage because I know I'm gonna regret that what if feeling, like, yo, what if I said what's up to that guy
Yeah.
and it turned into something? Because don't get me, or realize when I say this, a lot of the opportunity that has come to fruition for me in my personal life has been through networking. It's
Mm-hmm.
been through friends. It's been through meeting people who turned into friends that turned into bigger opportunity. That turned into, hey, I could help you with this, or hey, do you know about this, or hey, I can do this for you. Like, it's because of that I've been able to, grow in what I've been working on.
Yeah.
So that's what drives me. So having that underlying determination to succeed, and the having the platform to utilize to put networking into effect, because I feel like that's been a lot of what I was trying to achieve when I was younger. It's kind of like, man, I got all these ideas, but I don't have anything to apply them to. So it's once I was able to build the brand, and then whatever I wanted to do creative wise, I had a platform to do it on.
Got you. Now that brings me to my next question is your YouTube channel. Now you had the eating show on it. What is it? First We Eat?
Man, I have so much respect for YouTubers and content creators and influencers. That shit is hard, yo.
Yeah.
Especially for you, even in podcasts and this right now, this is, yeah, respect. This is hard work.
Yeah.
This is hard earned hard work. I did personal vlogging for a solid year.
Wow.
One one like I tried, I was doing my personal YouTube channel, and I did it for two reasons. I did it as a diary because getting all these cool opportunities to go places and that I normally wouldn't have been able to have the opportunity to if I didn't have the business. I wanted to document it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty dope. Like, I look back on it from videos 3-4 years ago. I'm like, yo, that's tight that I recorded this, because like I would have forgot about it
Yeah.
with so much going on. It takes a lot of time to record while you're doing it, and it takes double, triple the time to edit it.
Yeah.
And it finally got to the point in which I kept recording, and I didn't have time to edit, and I stopped vlogging because I couldn't keep up. And then that's where the respect grew even more for vloggers. Like, yo, you guys, this takes a lot of hard work to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
Like with your podcast, there's a lot that goes on after we record this. And we're 2 hours in already. This is 2 hours out of your day. How much more time do you have to spend on this to, get it posted and then post edit and then promote it?
It takes a while, dude.
Yeah, a lot.
Actually, not even to lie, like I took last week off. I took Monday and Thursday off last week just out of the blue. No, nothing was happening. There was no reason why I couldn't do it. It was just, bro, I'm burnt the fuck out. It was the Friday before the Monday that I had to release an episode, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And Ash was like, we could do an episode together and we'll put out episodes. I was like, I appreciate that, but like, I just don't feel it right now because you're throwing it out there, throwing it out there. This is episode 184, dude, and we started in September 2018, and
Crazy.
most videos get like 400, 500 views, and it's just it's hard to think about the numbers right now because if I were to think about the numbers, it's going to discourage me so much. So I have to look at this as a legacy thing. I was talking to somebody that's going to be on the podcast in the future. We were just setting it up and we had a small conversation. I was telling him about the podcast. I said, you know what? All these people in the automotive community, they're known by everybody. you're known. So many other brands like Papadakis or something, Ed Bergenholtz, they're all known people, but we don't have history like a Michael Jordan does. We don't have history like, Babe Ruth or whoever. But why don't we? Some of the people in our community, some of the people that have built the foundation of the community are as important or more important to people in the automotive space as like a Babe Ruth would, or a Kobe or anything like that would be. But there's nowhere that we have this documented. We left the responsibility to print, to Import Tuner, Super Street, Honda Tuning. But what can they really do at that time? They can give you a few pages, few paragraphs to get to know somebody. But we're, like you said, we're 2 hours deep, and I feel like we're barely scratching the surface. So I felt so many people in our community needed to have their stories told. And if I can be that outlet to make it happen, then that's what I'm looking for. And if this blows in the future, I mean, that would definitely be nice. But
Well, you got the personality to do it as well, right?
Thank you.
I don't know how many people I could name that I could say could talk to 184 people on a podcast. It's you kind of have like that talk show personality.
Yeah.
And you have an enthusiasm for it, right? Like imagine the Conan O'Brien and the Jimmy Kimmel, like they have their jobs because they're good at it, right? You've kind of taken on that role, whether you've realized it or not. You've turned into the personality of a talk show host, whether it's on radio or TV. Like not a lot of people could do that.
Yeah. And it's fucking hard, man.
For sure.
It's definitely hard, but I feel like it's going to get appreciated.
And it's also the effort that you put in prior to the show, scheduling, networking, getting more people. 184 people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. How many of that 184 would you say you did on your own? Like you knew them already versus like you had to get networked to them.
Oh, there's a great amount of people where I met them right when they either came to the shop or we set up Skype, and
so would you say like half of 184 like were like new people?
I'd probably say a quarter, just because I've been very conscious about networking in the past 10 years since I've been in business. So I network when I'm not even trying to network.
Right. Yeah. And that's that conversation that we had about the importance of networking, right?
Definitely.
Look at that. You were meeting all these people in the past decade without even knowing, like, oh, wait, I'm going to end up asking you to do an interview.
Yeah.
To not only help with my show, but to increase your exposure and leverage, something that we both can do to each other. It's exactly that. It's something that you have to consciously always be aware of.
Yeah.
And it also goes along with that saying of, don't burn bridges, because you never know when that relationship might need to come to fruition down the road.
Yeah, definitely. And that's
relationships are inevitable to be burnt.
Yeah, I've been down that road so many times, and I try to
positive, right? We'll keep it positive.
Yeah, I try to focus on strengthening my bridge and not worrying about having to use any other bridges to cross.
Yeah,
and it's just a growing period, dude. Like we're all growing in the spotlight, in the public eye. So it's like if you want to be one of those people who's out there, who's on social media, who's at events, who's kind of like a personality, you have to understand that you're going to be in the public eye of so many people. So as you're growing, it's going to be a lot harder to hide those kind of those growth spurts that you're gonna have, and I've looked to embrace that, because if you've known me for a long time, you've been able to see the growth that I've been going down. And at the end of the day, the most I could say is that I'm trying to be the best version of myself, and I'm trying to figure it out just like everybody else is.
That goes along with running and growing a business, right? That's where they say like passion comes first, because with passion is longevity, because business gets hard.
Yeah.
Shit hits the fan more often when owning a business versus just working, right?
Yeah.
shit hits the fan, a lot gets very challenging, and if you don't have passion, it's easy to just quit.
Yeah, definitely, man. You gotta
You
learn
quit.
to embrace the shit.
Yeah.
Dope, B. Man, I'm so glad that we got to sit down and talk about everything, dude. I always love having conversations with you, whether it's just here on the podcast or, just on a phone call every once in a while. Your energy is dope, bro. Your creativity is dope. And you're probably one of, I wouldn't even say a handful of people. You're probably one of a couple people that I actually look to for inspiration because you're just always going, bro. You're never letting off the gas, and I really appreciate that about you.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Goes both ways. The respect goes both ways because I see it in you as well. Like we have heart of the hustler.
Yeah,
You can't keep us down.
hell yeah. I love it,
That's it.
man.
That's
Dope,
it.
B. So before we get out of here, where can people find you at? You and the
At
brands.
oh yeah, at Brian ESR on Instagram. That's my personal page. And then if you want to follow the brands, at Eat Sleep Race, at Fast Kids Club, and yeah, then you could also check out OGS if you want to come see me at one of the events. That's at OGS 1320 and at Official H Day.
Got it. Okay, cool. Make sure you guys check out all the instas below. I'll have it listed. Make sure you check out the next H Day, like you said, August 15th and 16th in New Hampshire at the New England Dragway. And if you can't make that one, the next one is going to be on September 19th, 20th in Maryland at Cecil County Dragway. That one, we will be at that. I'm excited to go out there and try to salvage whatever we can of 2020.
Yeah. Hopefully things keep getting better.
Yeah, definitely be a good time, man. So I want to thank you, Brian, for your time, dude. Thank you for everything that you do for the community, and thank you for just being a good friend, man. I really appreciate you, bro.
For sure.
So
Obviously,
and
that's a lot more after this.
definitely, man. So huge shout out to our sponsor, Heel Toe Automotive. You guys know they've been around since 2002, supplying you guys with the Honda parts that you need. Make sure you guys check out Marcus. The website is really dope and interactive. You could go there, text, give him a call, and he'll help you out with whatever questions you guys have at heeltoeauto.com or on Instagram at Heel Toe Automotive. And please check out Eat Sleep Race and Fast Kids Club. And get dripped out, man. You need some new clothes. You look like shit right now. This is Downtime with Downstar, episode 184, and we out. Peace.